Okay, so I have all my MassFX rigid body applied to all my cubes, and I'm going to come down here and change that to, oh, it's already by default dynamic. And I want it to be dynamic. Dynamic means that they can be acted upon by the forces of physics. And that is what I want. So we're going to change the preset to, let's make it cardboard. We'll change it so you can see what happens. Okay, so that's set up. And the last thing I have is my car. And I'm going to select it and give it a MassFX rigid body application. And it is going to be kinematic. It is going to act upon our cubes without being destroyed. Because if we made that dynamic, it would be destroyed. Okay, and start in sleep mode. You want to start it in sleep mode because you want to preserve what you've set up. What's going to end up happening is, and we want to do that with the cube. We'll go back to the cubes a minute and do that too. Collide with rigid bodies. And we're going to turn that into steel because that's closest to what a car is. Okay. All right. So, once we get this set up, we're going to need to go animation, MassFX, okay, so we have the same buttons, these play simulation, step simulation, reset simulation. We're going to simulate it. It's not going to play out down here yet. We're going to play the simulation first to see what happens. And it's going to take it a few minutes to think about it. And it's slow in the beginning. So our object is hitting our boxes and causing them to fall. Pretty cool. Now it's just a physical reaction to a steel car that size hitting a stack of boxes that size. Now, I'm going to reset, just hit that arrow up here, reset, which reset the simulation. That's what that is with that button. And I'm going to change, I'm just going to click on one of my boxes here. And then you can just click on it on one of them and it will change all of them. I believe. And let's check to make sure. I'm going to change this to rubber. Yeah, it changed all of them. Okay. Because we applied it all at the same time. Alright, so now let's run our simulation again by clicking on the play simulation button. And see what happens when it changes from cardboard to rubber. See, they bounce a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. They usually bounce a little bit more than that. Okay, so let's do this. Let's make our car bigger. Reset our simulation and play it again. make it hit them faster. I'm going to just come down here and drag this from 70 to 40. And play it again. So you see it kind of exploded a little bit more as a result of the object hitting it faster and being bigger. Okay, reset and grab one of the cubes. And that's right, sorry. Oh, rubber. Let's make it concrete and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to play that out now. So it's not a significant difference, but there is some difference. And that is the basic physics behind MassFX. Okay, so now, say we're good with this, we're happy with what's happened. What we're going to need to do is come over to Animation, MassFX, Utilities, and, oh wait a minute, let's see. Show MassFX Tools. There we go. Let's get this. Show MassFX Tools. So go Animation, MassFX, Utilities, Show MassFX Tools. Go ahead and get that. Okay, so our environment is showing use ground collisions. Ground height is 0, 0, which is where our plane is. Directional gravity is on the Z axis, which is what we want. You can turn off no gravity. You can turn off gravity, rather. You can turn off gravity and have no gravity. So if you ever have issues, you may want to check your gravity. Okay, so now that we've played out the simulation and say this is what we want to keep, say we're happy with that, you have to bake it. Baking is where it turns the physics in the simulation into keyframes down here. Okay, so I'm going to hit Bake All, and what it's going to do is it's going to create keyframes down here on the bottom that align with the animation that was simulated, and it's going to take it some time to do that. You may want to take a break and walk away and come back, because it does take it a while to go through that simulation. And you can see it's, here we go. So it's going to run the simulation and create the keyframes. So it'll run through the whole thing. And I had way too many frames in here. You see it finally stopped somewhere around, what, 180? Yeah, so probably about 180 would have been enough frames for this, but you can always shorten it later to remove the extra keyframes. Or if you have video editing software, you can always cut off the end. You just crop it. And I do encourage those of you guys that haven't taken DMPT 2600 with Mr. Thomas, where he teaches you Premiere Pro, I highly encourage you to learn Premiere Pro. You're going to need to edit your own videos. I am going to show you some basic Premiere Pro for basic video editing at the end of this class, for those of you who have it. For those of you who don't, you won't have to use it. But if you want to start doing your own videos, you're going to want to learn how to edit. Okay, so I'm just going to move this off to the side over here. I'm just going to put it over there. So now what happens when I click on the blocks, you're going to see all these keyframes. And that is what has been created. And so now that it's been baked in, if I hit play, it will play down here. And it's now a permanent part of my animation. Okay. Now, if for some reason I see an error and I want to go back and fix it, unbake all. It will get rid of those keyframes and let you start from scratch. Let you start over. Just unbake it. And then it'll put it back to where it was, and you can make adjustments. So say I want to change, I don't like this, I want to change it to a different material. I can do that by unbaking it. Okay? Alright, so we're going to stop this one here, and we'll continue in the next video.